Ever feel overwhelmed by all the productivity hacks and success stories online? Like maybe you read about Alex Hormozzi's unconventional morning routine, how Tim Ferriss works just 4 hours per week. These stories can be inspiring for sure, and we can learn a lot from them. But is this enough for you to actually get results, to actually achieve your own version of success and fulfillment? Let's explore this together. There are two types of knowledge: second-hand knowledge and you have first-hand knowledge. Second-hand knowledge will be what you get from teachers, mentors, consultants, influencers, or any external source. We refer to it as advice normally, and its validity depends on the credibility and reliability of the authority that is giving you this information. So if you trust your teacher a lot and he gives you some advice, well, you will think it's valid because it's a credible source. On the other hand, we have the first-hand knowledge, which will be the knowledge that you gain from direct observation and personal experience. Relying too much on advice and second-hand knowledge has a few issues that I am about to share with you. These are 4 issues. The first one is that all advice is by nature limited by language. Words are limited. They can never convey to you the actual thing. If I'm saying the moon is not the actual moon, I'm just saying a word that is pointing to something. So language is limited to express all the subtleties of real world experience. If I say to you the moon, it doesn't compare to the actual experience of watching or seeing the moon and seeing the colors and everything. Second limitation is that when you are focusing too much on advice and second-hand experience, you get into this mindset called prevention-oriented mindset. This mindset focuses on preventing pain mostly. So you are more concerned on preventing bad things than actually generating good things. So this can lead to an excessive focus on reducing the risks of your actions, which can reinforce a feedback loop of fear and stagnation. Also, third point, power play. What does it mean? Second-hand knowledge can sometimes include subtle manipulation or persuasion tactics that seek to influence your actions. This might be something obvious like marketing, like, okay, buy my product. Or this can be something more subtle, like it's not about buying a product, but about buying an idea, or giving a person power by actually believing him. So yes, also this kind of knowledge also has the power play aspect. And finally, the fourth point is that second-hand knowledge lacks context and details. Advice often lacks context and details about actual implementation. What worked in one case might not work perfectly in your case. So these are 4 limitations of relying too much on advice. Therefore, the true value of advice lies in combining this advice with real-life action. So you gain first-hand knowledge, personal experience, experiential knowledge. Right now, internet is offering us a massive amount of knowledge, but we have limited time to test everything. There is this abundance of information, and we might not invest enough in a specific piece of information to fully understand it, and see the results of its implementation. Allow me to share a story. As a child, I only had 5 Super Nintendo cartridges, 5 Super Nintendo games. And I played those games like infinite times. I remember playing Super Mario World 10,000 times because I didn't have any more games. I only had 5 games. So I was replaying the games, like studying all the different features of the game and trying to unlock all the secrets and everything. And this was because I had only 5 games. This scarcity I had on games made me value more what I had. So I was squeezing the value out of the games a lot more. And I was getting, in fact, more joy and more fulfillment just from the same set of games. And with the information, we are experiencing the opposite, because we have a lot of information and we don't have enough time. It's like if I had 300 Super Nintendo games, I would have not been able to squeeze all these games. So in this case, we have too much information, too much options, and not enough time, not enough of our energy to actually test the information and squeeze the value out of it. We are not able to identify, okay, this is valuable, I'm going to actually study it, review it, and take action and squeeze it completely. So how do we deal with this situation in which we have too many options, yet not enough time, not enough energy, or the right mindset to process everything? Stay with me because I'm about to share what I think is the secret sauce to solve this situation. By the way, if you're enjoying this episode, make sure to subscribe to YouTube. If you're watching the video, if you're using a streaming platform, make sure to follow and drop a 5 stars review. Nassim Taleb, he's an investigator and essayist, writer of books like The Black Swan, Does Luck Exist, and Anti-Fragile. He says, if you take risks and face your fate with dignity, there is nothing you can do that makes you small. If you don't take risks, there is nothing you can do that makes you grand. Nothing. And I think there is a healthy balance to be nurtured between second-hand and first-hand knowledge. An example, if you go too far into the second-hand knowledge extreme, you become a shiny object chaser. Like this, looking at the latest, most attractive, risk-diminishing shortcuts. And if you go too far in the first-hand knowledge extreme, I think you get tunnel vision, hardship, lack of a map to actually help you navigate. So what I think is that without taking action, you will never truly learn or improve your situation, not even by 1%. So this journey of growth that we are currently experiencing, this is a long-term thing. Overly trying to game the system, like through second-hand knowledge, shortcuts, and tactics, without a proper strategy that is rooted in your own reality, this is an excellent way to just keep you stuck where you are. So, what is my proposal for this situation? The proposal is to take action. But you need to take those risks in an informed and systematic way. So what is the idea? Is that you get this second-hand knowledge and you transform it into first-hand knowledge, something that you saw with your own eyes, that you know is true, and you embody the understanding of that. So you gain this real understanding and you see the hidden truths of how does it look actually to do it. By taking action in this way, in a consistent way, you will be crafting your own reality map. This reality map is the core foundation of this, or what will be your wisdom. The wisdom of the masters, the greatest of all times, is never based on second-hand knowledge. It's always based on first-hand knowledge. Wisdom is what eventually gives you this kind of supernatural intuition. This, consider Arnold Schwarzenegger, Paco de Lucia, Bruce Lee, Mike Tyson, all the greatest of all times. They are great not because of the tactics or because the techniques they use necessarily, not even about the knowledge, like the knowledge in terabytes they have in their mind. It's not about that. It's mostly about the highly accurate and relevant experiential map they already created for themselves. So they took a lot of action in their lives and they put themselves through crazy shit, doing experiments, facing all types of challenges, all types of wins and losses also, and deliberately trying to improve, studying the results, and with curiosity, with discernment. So this activity of crafting your own map is the single highest ROI activity you can do when engaging in any kind of mastery process. This will give you the most return of investment, I think. But there is a good reason we resist to craft our own maps. And this is because this is about getting into the unknown, and exploring things in our own can be scary for sure. We can diminish that fear, although with these second-hand maps, it works for that. It's very good for diminishing the fear, with help from mentors, an example, that went through similar situations. But truth is that what you will encounter will always be different to what you were actually told, because your context is unique and your present moment is unique also. So eventually you will need to deal with this pain of taking action, with seeing what happens with your own eyes. There is no other way. So crafting your map is a necessity. It's a necessity, and the only way to do it is by taking action and pursuing this first-hand knowledge that I'm talking about. Let's put an example. Well, how does it look to actually look for this knowledge? Getting first-hand knowledge is about getting in the field and taking action and gathering something called reference experience. Reference experience is the evidence that helps you build your own judgment about what works and doesn't work for you. Let's say you want to learn sales, in example. So you investigate a little bit, you do a course here and there, get second-hand knowledge, and you prepare yourself. So after that, you need to start taking action. So you set an efforts-based goal. This means you propose to yourself to do an X amount of sales calls. So you can gather all the reference experience you can from this and learn. So you take action and you actively document all the actions you take, the results you get, so you can review it and study it. This could be documenting things like what went well, what went wrong, how far did you get on the sales call, if you actually closed the call, if you choked at some objection, or any other recurrent problems you can think of. The thing is that after you document your efforts, this reference experience, this evidence you gather from the field, you will be getting real feedback from this is real, this is actually what happened. And this will help you adjust your approach to your context. What you will learn out of this kind of approach is impossible to replace by any course, by any book, by any mastermind. This is your knowledge. This is highly valuable. When you are inside this kind of paradigm, we don't talk about victory or failure, winning, losing. We don't talk about that. We talk only about reference experience. The only thing that matters is that you get reference experience. And this kind of reframe is super good to take action, to encourage you to take action and see what happens. Normally, we do this kind of approach, which is called the aim, ready, and fire approach. You are aiming with the weapon, then you are ready to fire, and then you fire. So you prepare first, and then you fire. But this can trap us in this loop of endless aiming, because you are trying to analyze everything and you are not sure if you need to fire, or maybe it's better to fire in that direction, or maybe it's better to fire in that direction. So you get stuck, and you will be like looking for advice, looking for tricks, shortcuts, tips. We place too much emphasis on this aiming part, this gathering knowledge, analyzing part. But the actual experience is king. It is what it will actually give you momentum and will actually move you forward. Have you met these kind of guys that are like, they have a lot of second-hand knowledge? Like, they are Google. These guys are Google, are the same. Yet they lack results. They are just talking, and they lack results. They lack wisdom because they are only repeating this second-hand knowledge. Well, this is what you don't want to be. You don't want to be this kind of guy. You need to be a person that is more on the action side and not that much on the analyzing side. Because if not, you get like stuck in the aim stage. Like you're planning to go and eat a cake, but you are never eating the cake. So you never know the taste of the cake. You need to eat the cake. There is no other way to know how it feels to eat a cake. You need to eat it. This is the truth. Maybe the cake is a bizarre example, but you cannot... You don't know the taste of the cake by reading books about cakes or by reading recipes about cakes. No, you know the taste of the cake by actually eating a cake. This is a truth that nobody emphasizes, in my opinion, enough. Because there is no perfect way to create any business, any lifestyle, any meaning for you, any passions, travel. There is no perfect way to manage your time, meditate, whatever. There is no perfect way. I'm not sure if you are getting how serious I am about what I'm saying here. There is no perfect way to do anything. There is no right or wrong way here. So this is not about finding the perfect tool, the perfect technique. This is about taking action and accumulating this reference experience that allow you to create your own map based on your own experience and understanding. This is the valuable thing. And don't get me wrong, second-hand knowledge is still useful, of course, but its primary use should be about to create this sense of certainty in chaos and help you move forward to get some results, especially at the beginning. Also, this can be used to prevent mistakes or correct some aspects of your approach. So you can maybe gather inspiration and even open your mind. But without action, without exercising your courage, without facing the unknown, you will not see results. That's how it is. My most transformative experience on this subject was related to dating and socializing. When I was a kid, I was super shy and I struggled with basic social dynamics. I had to learn how to speak out loud, show confidence, set boundaries. I was a people pleaser. I couldn't be honest with the girls I liked because I was too afraid. So my self-esteem was very low. And so at some point I say, no, what the fuck? I need to find a solution for this. And I started reading books about sexuality, attraction, socializing, dating, self-esteem. This was obviously all secondhand knowledge, but it opened to me a world that I didn't know it exists. So this is important. I mean, secondhand knowledge is super important. I thought originally that I was broken, that I was objectively ugly, that there wasn't any possibility for me to actually change this reality. So gathering courage from this resource and collecting some basic tactics, I began to approach girls I liked and girls I didn't like also. And my main focus was to get reference experience. So knowing that those reference experiences will allow me to learn what was actually possible. So I was facing rejection day in and day out. And this was my first major self-development transformation experience because it was super intense. I gathered a lot of reference experience by doing this, and this completely transformed my personality to a point in which people were not able to recognize me. Like former friends I had, hey, Bruno, is that you, man? What the fuck? Because they saw me like speaking differently and relating differently. Like I look completely different. But the only way I could expose myself to this kind of pain of taking action and getting rejected was to view this through the lens of gathering a lot of reference experience. This was my approach. So I was motivated because I was curious to see what happens. That was my mindset. My main motivation wasn't to get laid or to be a child. It wasn't that. It was more about the joy of the process of learning, or the process of overcoming the fear that I had and seeing what was actually possible and gathering reference experience. That was the motivation, to learn, to get better at the game. Everything can be so as a game if you have the right mindset. And when you are focusing on gathering reference experience, you're focusing on learning. It's a different kind of mindset. It's easier to take action when you are seeing the world in this way. You will be more willing to do stupid things because you will be motivated to see how far can you go, what happens next, and your brain will automatically gather that information and learn and optimize itself. Having said all this, even though most of us take action based on these material or emotional motivations like getting money, being successful, being loved, feeling happy, whatever, I think that ultimate satisfaction can never come from any outcome. Ultimate satisfaction can only come through nurturing a devotional relationship with your own growth process. Being able to enjoy it for what it is, with its ups and downs. Your ultimate fulfillment comes from learning, from immersing yourself in this polishing process and enjoying how the patterns start to clarify themselves. You will eventually reach a point of mastery where you are not a victim of the circumstances anymore, but you are this wise observer that is able to relate to what is unfolding in a wholesome way. This is not possible unless you take a proactive approach in gathering reference experiences, committing to your practice, and making conscious changes in your approach iteration by iteration. Using this concept of reference experience will unlock for you this psychotechnology that will help you to do the craziest things, the things that scare you the most, because you will understand how the outcome often is not as important as the process and the learning you gain from it. You start to not get that much attached to the outcome. And this mindset shift can help you overcome fear, take risks, and truly grow as a person. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe to the Creative Action Podcast on YouTube and also to follow this podcast on your favorite streaming platform and drop a 5-star review. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or Threads. All links on the description of this episode. So, final words, embrace discomfort, find ways to gather more reference experience, expand your map, open yourself to the world, take action, and enjoy the growth process. Ultimately, your fulfillment is a matter of perspective and not of material or emotional outcome. Thank you for listening. Listen, I have new spots available for you to have a free one-on-one clarity session with me. Go to brunoflow.com/clarity to save your spot. This is for you if you want to realize your creative vision in a faster, predictable, and supported way. I will help you gain clarity on your ultimate goals, your current challenges, and their possible solutions. Of course, if you're a good fit, I will tell you more about my service and